What is up? We are live reacting to West Virginia's 24-21 win over the TCU Horned Frogs. What a game, man. I don't know if I've ever seen a game like this ever. I mean, holy cow, I've never seen so many injuries. First of all, before we get too far along, I've got to say uh, thoughts and prayers need to go out to Aubrey Burks, who went down with that really serious injury there early. I think it was in the first half. And then um, Trey Lathan, who looks like may have broken his leg as well for West Virginia. And then I think it was Hershey McLaurin went out with what appeared to be a concussion. But player after player just kept going down. But those three guys, their injuries were more severe, especially what Aubrey Burks is dealing with. So prayers up to those guys. Wishing them a quick recovery. Uh, I need to say that before we get to anything else because that's the most important thing. But let's get on and talk about the game. First of all, I have not had a chance to look at these stats yet, so you guys are going to look at them with me live right here uh, on this post game reaction show. But as you saw on the thumbnail, who I've got on that thumbnail, the guy who made the two big plays at the end of the game, Mr. Sean Martin. Sean Martin came up with what appeared to at first be a sack, ended up just being I guess a quarterback pressure, hurry, hit, whatever you want to call it. But it caused an incomplete pass by Chandler Morris, which led to the field goal attempt, and then big 6'5" Sean Martin sticks that big hand up and blocks the field goal. The second blocked field goal of the game for West Virginia. Just special teams stepped up big tonight. Preston Fox did a great job returning punts, putting the Mountaineer offense in really good field position. Just player after player, you could go down the list and talk about the difference they made in this game. But first off, let's look at the stats here. Third down efficiency, obviously, uh, West Virginia, 4 of 13. TCU 6 of 16. So West Virginia's still not doing great on third downs on the offensive side, but they're doing enough, man. They're now 4-1 on the season, 2-0 in the Big 12. You've got total yards, 343 for West Virginia, 433 for TCU. Passing yards, only 142 for West Virginia. But that's all they needed. 298 for TCU. 6.8 yards per pass for West Virginia. Rushing yards, 201 for West Virginia. Big nut on the ground for Jaheim White, C.J. Donaldson, and most importantly, Garrett Greene, who had 80 yards rushing on his own tonight. 4.7 yards per rush for the Mountaineers, 3.6 for TCU. That's big right there. West Virginia's defense held TCU to 3.6 yards per carry for 135 total yards, guys. That was huge. Biggest key to this game, in my opinion, because Imani Bailey was the leading rusher in the Big 12 coming into the game. The Mountaineers were able to shut it down. Mountaineers only committed 2 penalties tonight, guys. They continue to play good, clean football. Only 2 penalties to 7 for TCU. No turnovers for either team. Possession, West Virginia won the time of possession, 32 minutes, almost 33 minutes, and then 26 minutes, 33 seconds for TCU. Another key to the game was West Virginia needed to control the clock and win the time of possession. They did it. So 2 big things. They needed to run the ball, they needed to control the clock, and they needed to stop the run, and they did all 3 of those things tonight, and then got helped by some special teams. And again, their defense stepped up big and made plays when they needed to. And even though the passing game wasn't pretty and it wasn't great, they did make passing plays late in the game when they needed to make them. E.J. Horton made a really Garrett Greene to E.J. Horton was a big play late in the game. You saw Cole Taylor make a catch or 2 late in the game. Hudson Clement made some catches. Devin Carter made that catch early in the game. That was big. Rodney Gallagher made a couple nice plays tonight. But we saw Jaheim White step up and make a couple nice runs. Let's look at the box score real quick. Some individual. Garrett Greene was 10 of 21 passing for 142 yards, 6.8 yards per completion. He ran the ball 12 times for 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. C.J. Donaldson carried it 22 times for 61 yards, only 2.8 per carry. Jaheim White carried it 6 times, but got 46 yards out of those carries, average of 7.7 yards per carry. Gallagher had 2 carries for 17. Justin Johnson had 1 carry for -2. Hudson Clement, the leading receiver on the night, 3 catches, 48 yards, and a touchdown. Devin Carter, 1 reception for 30 yards. Preston Fox and Cole Taylor each caught 2 balls. And then E.J. Horton caught the 1 pass for 19 yards, and Traylon Ray had a catch as well, but it was for no gain. And then the defense, look at this. Lee Kpogba is another guy I want to talk about. He was in Chandler Morris's face all night long, especially late in the game, especially in the second half, forcing Chandler Morris to get rid of that ball before he wanted to. He also had 11 tackles and a sack and a TFL and a pass deflection. So just absolutely good night for Lee Kpogba. Beanie Bishop, another big night, 9 total tackles, 2 passes defended. Hershey McLaurin had a big night before he went out with what appears to be a concussion. 7 tackles, 2 passes defended, 2 TFLs. Ben Cutter, the freshman, true freshman in the game tonight, 6 tackles. Good night for him. Saw him running around making some plays. Tomiwa Duragier, another good night for him. 5 tackles, half a sack, and 1.5 tackles for loss. Like I mentioned Sean Martin earlier, his stats don't blow you away, but he just keeps getting in the backfield. 2 tackles, a sack, and a tackle for loss, to his credit. So just player after player that deserves credit on that punt returns. Preston Fox returned 2 punts for 32 yards. Michael Hayes made the one big field goal. The one he missed, he actually made it before the penalty, which was how in the world they saw that false start when a guy basically it looks like his back flinched. I don't know how they even saw it, but then they had to back him up to kick it 58 yards. He wasn't making it for 58 yards. And Oliver Straw had a decent night punting, 5 punts, averaged 46 yards with 3 of those inside the 20-yard line, and did have one 58-yarder as well. So, again, special teams, playing clean, penalty-free football, taking care of the ball, and playing good defense and running the ball. I mean, that is the formula for this football team, and they're doing it well right now. And, even though it's not always pretty, it always has us on the edge of our seats. It's a big deal. It's a big deal, and they're winning football games. Let me get into some comments here. I see a super chat. My man, Big Dan T in the house. He says, and Big Dan T's also a VIP member here at Couz's Corner. He says, sad thing is, it should have been a 14-point win at least, but very proud of our Mountaineers. Great comment, Big Dan T. I agree. We had 4 or 5 dropped interceptions tonight. There were so many chances this team could have had to make this a bigger victory. But you know what? At the end of the day, it goes in the win column. That's all that matters. Let's get to some other comments. Obviously, my VIP members get their comments read first. Big Dan T says, let's go. He says, pray for our Mountaineers. Absolutely. All those guys hurt. And for those TCU fans who were booing when they were bringing a cart out on the field to get one of our players, shame on you. I know that's not all TCU fans, but the ones who did, you should be ashamed of yourself. WVRX man says it's the best win since Texas with Greer. I would say that might be that's a good argument. That's a fair argument. Alan Arthur says a costly win. Our already thin secondary lost another key guy, and Lathan probably gone for the year. Yeah, I'd say both of those guys are out for the year. Definitely costly. It's definitely a concern. Brown Miller, we lost. Aubrey Burks went down and was actually carted off. Looked like a pretty severe head or neck injury. He wasn't moving when they carted him off. Neal Brown updated at the end that he was talking and responding, so that's good. Other than that, we don't know a whole lot. And then Trey Lathan appears to have broken his leg there late in the game. So the two, what will be season enders for those guys, more than likely. And then Hershey McLaurin came off with a concussion, but, since they have a bye week coming up, hopefully he'll be ready to go by the Houston game. Luke Bart, who's also a VIP member, he says, let's go WVU, baby. Thank you, Luke. Thank you for your support, my man. Oh, WVURX, man, who always puts the game replays out on YouTube, says he won't be able to get it out until tomorrow morning. Totally understand. It's after midnight here on the East Coast, man. Mountaineer Paul is on if you want to have him on. I know he's on his channel, though, man. We're kind of competing against each other tonight, unfortunately, even though we're buddies. He wanted to do his own show, so and I obviously wanted to go live on my channel. I haven't been able to do that the past 2 weeks because I've been at the game, so thought I would take advantage of this tonight to do this. It was dirty win. Hey, a win's a win, right? Mike Lockhart is a beast. Yes, that play Mike Lockhart made where he ran down, I think it was Chandler Morris he ran down. Man, that was a big play. To see a man that size run that fast is pretty impressive. Mike Lockhart, again, he also had another block field goal in the game. So shout out to Mike Lockhart. Can't forget him. UT Parking says WVU has a legit shot to get 9 or 10 wins. I agree. Kenny Evans, channel member here. Thank you. Says a win is a win. We will take it. Prayers for the guys who went down. Prayers for them. Absolutely, Kenny. Sure thing, my man. Jeff Landis in the house. Kirk said anyone but West Virginia. Let's go Mountaineers. That's right, baby. Reigning blue and white with Robert Francis. Congratulations, Couz, on the victory. I'm happy for you guys, and I'm happy you guys cover my spread prediction. Yeah, man, I started to put money on this game, and I didn't. Wish I had now. Brad Cheney in the house. Thanks for the super chat, Brad, and for being a channel member. He says that was a statement win. Like I said when I was reading the stats off, man, West Virginia's winning. They're forcing teams to play their style of football, which is run the ball, ugly smash mouth football, and it's working right now. That is their MO. This team has found an identity, and they're playing according to that identity, and they're winning. It may not always be pretty. It might make us nervous as heck every game, and every game's probably going to be close. They're probably not going to blow out a lot of teams playing that style of football, but they're winning ball games, man. And that's all we can ask for. We've been complaining that Neal Brown can do everything but win. Now he's winning. The next step for a football team, first you get blown out, then you win close. You get blown out, then you lose close games, then you start winning close games. That's what we're doing now. That's the phase we're in right now. We're winning close games. And shout out, by the way, to Tony Caridi, who I heard talk about that. He went over that. That's kind of the phase teams go through as they're rebuilding. You lose big, you lose close, you win close, then you start blowing people out. Big Dan T says, thank you, WVURX man, for putting those up. I appreciate it. Good job, West Virginia. Nice team win. Praying for all our injured players. Absolutely. Houston should be worried. Yeah, but, man, I tell you what, man, we can't take them for granted. They were able to put up 28 points on Texas Tech, and I know Texas Tech's defense isn't great, but they did, they did put up 28 points on them. Dana's teams will be able to score. But I do like our defense. But like we've been talking about, we've got a lot of guys injured. It'll be interesting to see, if these guys can recover. Not the long-term guys. We obviously know they're not going to recover more than likely, but the guys like Hershey McLaurin and these other guys that went down banged up, can they recover? And it's really a great time for a bye week, man. Really a great time. Gives these guys a chance to heal up a little bit. Demetrius, you're right. Grounded out wins, man. That's what this team's built on. Offensive line gets all the praise. Defensive line, too. Absolutely, Alan. Kenny Evans, thank you, man. He says, our defense is great to hold high-power teams to lower scores and stats. They are. They've done it 2 weeks in a row now. Absolutely. I'm really proud of this team, man. Coach Brown, I thought, coached a good game tonight. He made some decisions that made me scratch my head. I mean, I thought when he went for it on 4th and 5, I thought he should have kicked a field goal there. We were in Michael Hayes' field goal range. I thought he should have kicked it right there to take the points. He called a couple timeouts. I was scratching my head on, like, why'd you call a timeout there? That one at the end, for example, when TCU was getting ready to kick the field goal, he called a timeout. Maybe he was setting up for that block. I don't know. But nonetheless, whatever he did worked. We won the game. Hats off again to our defense. They played a heck of a game. Just really, really good football game. Good team win all around. Good special teams again come up big. Offense and defense, obviously. It's a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be. Phil and Masters, you hit the nail on the head, my friend. Sure did. And Pitt lost again, guys. Virginia Tech beat Pitt tonight. May have been the battle of the two worst teams in the ACC tonight. Virginia Tech came out on top. By the way, what about that head-scratching decision by Sonny Dykes when he ran his kicker out on the field with like 10 seconds to go on the play clock and didn't call a timeout? That wasn't very smart on his part. But you know what? I'll take it. I'll definitely take it because I thought that that obviously gave us an advantage for sure. But anyway, let's see what other comments we got in here, guys. Always do the ice the kicker. Yeah, Big Dan T says Pitt is 1-4. Absolutely. Coal Miners in North Carolina says, grit, baby. Still need more help from receivers. O-line and defense is really making a difference. Absolutely. Yeah, I did like how our receivers did kind of step up there towards the end. I mean, you had E.J. Horton make that big catch. Hudson Clement made a couple nice catches. I think we now have the receivers in the rotation that are going to make plays for us. I mean, you guys may have noticed Jeremiah Aaron and Cortez Braham did not play. For those of you who don't know, those guys are no longer on the team. they are quote unquote self redshirting, so that they, they played in 4 games. They'll be able to redshirt the rest of the season, and then they plan to transfer once the transfer portal opens, and they will still have 1 or 2 years of eligibility left at their next school. That's their plan. Coach Brown told the media about that off camera after his press conference was over on Monday, and then they weren't at practice. Those 2 guys, he didn't give names at the time, but then over the course of the week, it was discovered that those 2 guys weren't at practice all week, most of the week, and then they weren't dressed for the game tonight. So that kind of answered our question as to who the players were. But I'll be honest with you, those guys hadn't been performing real well, and I felt like the guys that played tonight, yes, they had a couple drops early, but at the end of the day, when they needed to make plays, they made plays. And our passing game still needs a lot of work. Our receivers need to do a better job of getting open, catching balls more consistently. And Garrett was not great. He wasn't real accurate with the football tonight. But Garrett Greene, he's just one of those guys. He doesn't always look pretty. He doesn't always throw the greatest pass, but he just wins games. And I do see, like Ocho's talked about there in the comments, he has shown the passing game is improving. It looks better now than it did earlier. I got a couple comments here from members I need to address. PW Riggs, I think, put one in here earlier that I missed. Where did I see that at PW Riggs? There we go. He said he had West Virginia and the money line. Glad you did, PW. Hopefully we'll get a decent payday from that, my friend. Big Dan T, I think it was, see, who else did I see a comment from here? Or what other channel members? What do you think our record will be now? Kenny, I don't know, man. When you look at our schedule, obviously we should beat Houston. See, we got after that, we got Houston, then we have Oklahoma State. Should be 2 wins there. That puts us at 6-1. Then we have Cincinnati. Cincinnati will be a tough game, but it's at home, so we should win that one. I mean, really, Oklahoma will probably lose to Oklahoma. UCF will be a tough one because it's at the bounce house, and their offense is explosive. There's not a game on our schedule we can't win. There's only one I see on our schedule we shouldn't win, and that's Oklahoma. Because the other one we shouldn't win was tonight, guys, and West Virginia was able to get it done. So it is very feasible for this team to go what would they finish 10-2? Now, I'm not predicting that. I don't think that's going to happen because over the course of the season, they're going to play you'd think they're eventually going to play a bad game, right? At some point, you'd think, the defense especially, because they've been playing so good. Plus, we got these injuries now that are going to impact us. Remember, the will linebacker spot where Trey Latham plays most of the time, not our deepest spot on the team. It's really one of the least, a position where we have the least amount of depth. Ben Cutter's a true freshman, stepping in for Latham. Now, he played well tonight, but what happens if he goes down? I guess they slide Lance Dixon back in there, but he's been playing a safety position where we just lost a guy too. So some young players are going to probably be asked to step up and play maybe before they're ready at some point in this season. And you just gotta hope they're ready, and that those kids live up to the expectations and to their talent and their abilities and what they were brought here to do. PW Riggs with another comment. He says, "I hope we get well before we play Houston." Big Dan T says, "Is it just me, or is CJ not running as hard as of late? Wondering if he's okay." Yep, Mountaineer Paul and I were actually talking about that. We were messaging each other during the game. He doesn't look the same. Mountaineer Paul seems to think maybe he's banged up a little bit. We got to remember, guys, C.J. Donaldson has only played running back now for 12 games in his entire life. So he's still learning the position. And yes, at times it looks like he's not running as hard. I don't want to – I've seen some comments on Twitter that he's running scared. I don't think he's scared. I think he just might be a little banged up, maybe. I don't know. But I think this bye week will do him a lot of good, maybe more good than anybody. Obviously, Garrett could probably use it because regardless of what they say, I don't think his ankle is 100% tonight. Hershey McLaurin obviously has a week to heal up from the concussion, what appeared to be a concussion. Phil, a master, man. Thank you for joining Couz's Corner, becoming a VIP member. I have added a couple perks. You can go check them out there. Once you see the tab, it's also an easy way to support me, guys. If you want to support me on the channel. And Jacob Yoho, $2 super chat. Thank you for that as well. He says, without 4 starters, I'm a little worried. Well, 2 for sure. I don't know how bad Tomas Remac's injury is. It didn't look good, but again, we don't know how bad it is. Hopefully, we'll be able to get an update about that from Neal on Monday during his press conference. I assume you're talking about Hershey McLaurin. If his is just a concussion, let's hope he will be back by Houston. With concussions, you never really know. Sometimes they can heal up in a week. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3. Depends on the severity of it. But fortunately, with his bye week, let's hope and pray and keep our fingers crossed that he's back and ready to go. Wyatt Milam went down with an injury, but it looked like he came back in as well. So it looked like he's going to be okay. So that's good. 10-2 sounds reasonable. 9-3 or 8-4 is still possible. And any of that for us, reigning blue and white, would be a good year, really. Leonard Hoosier says Burks will be back. You really think so? I'd be interested to see what his injury is first. I'm hoping it's nothing serious. Hopefully it's not near as serious as it looked. Yeah, West, by God, we all are, man. We're all praying for those guys. I can't wait to see Kirk's mug face when Pat McAfee brings up that West Virginia on College game day. There you go. What's up, Nick? The bye came at the right time. Absolutely. I'm so excited, Nick. I am too, my man. Sasquatch 304 says, what's up, Couz? Big time win. It is a big time win for us, man. Huge win for us. I'm really excited about this team. Matter of fact, I should have put my coonskin cap on before I started this to celebrate the win, but I just forgot. But I was so excited. I was also trying to get on here. I mean, heck, it's 12:23 a.m. midnight or on the East Coast. So multiple block field goals, absolutely. Ed Cunningham, huge in next game. Special teams, like I mentioned at the beginning, special teams stepped up massive in this game. Preston Fox's punt returns. Michael Hayes has made field goal. The 2 block field goals, man, just absolutely amazing. Big E, 7375. Thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, I heard someone that claims to be family. They said Burks has a broken neck. Hope it's not true. I hope it's not either, man. I hope you're man, that would be terrible. Gosh, I don't even know. It definitely doesn't look good, man. All we can do is pray for the young man and his family. Big Dan T says, trust the climb. We ain't at the peak yet. Nowhere near. I agree, Big Dan T. This team's only getting better. And guys, something I've been thinking about lately is when you look at the talent on this, most of the guys that are performing on the or that are performing well on this team, there's a large number of them that are underclassmen. I mean, Garrett Greene still has another year of eligibility. We all know Nico has 2 years left. Trey Lathan is a redshirt freshman, guys. Jaheim White's a freshman. Ronnie Gallagher's a freshman. We've got I'm trying to think of the defensive players. Ben Cutter's a true freshman. And you got, so many guys on this team that are young that are making plays for us and have the potential to make plays for us. And remember, guys, we got another linebacker named Josiah Trotter who probably could have competed for a starting spot as a true freshman this year that's out with a season-ending knee injury. So he's another one that has a lot of potential and could really help us next year. Frazier has another year of eligibility, and I expect Frazier to go on to the NFL because he's eligible for the draft, and he's probably going to get drafted fairly high. So I would expect him to go ahead and go to the draft. But I think he does have another year of eligibility remaining. Brad Cheney says, thank you for the $5 super chat, Brad. He says, Greene showed why he is the starter in the second half. I love Nico, but don't know if we would have won with him tonight. Garrett is just gritty, man. I've said before the season started, Garrett Greene reminds me a little bit of Skylar Howard in the way he plays. Skylar didn't throw the most accurate ball in the world, but he was gritty. He was tough. He was good in the run game, and he just won football games. Now, fortunately for Skylar, he had Shelton Gibson to throw the football to, as well as a couple other guys. We don't have a Shelton Gibson on this team right now. Now, maybe some of these other guys can develop into that, but right now we don't have it. Big Lubbock says he's pulling for West Virginia to win out. Leonard Hoosier said, yeah, very promising after the season. Evil Cowboy says, great game tonight. Thank you, Evil Cowboy, man. Jim McCardle says it's vertebrae, and Brown said he can move around. Spinal cord injuries are the worry. No such thing as a broken neck. Rick Schillenberg says, hell of a night to be a Mountaineer fan. Absolutely. Yeah, Jay White did a great job tonight. Coal miner's son in North Carolina. He sure did. Mad Dog Sports says, thanks, Sasquatch. Mad Dog Sports, thank you for being a channel member, my friend. Really appreciate you. Tom Harvey, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. He says, let's go Mountaineers. Thanks for the content. Give me wins any way we can get them. Absolutely. Yeah, Big E, man, we all hope you're wrong, brother. But I appreciate you bringing that information to the chat room, brother. Really do. McLaurin was live streaming after the game. Seemed to be fine. That's good to hear. Kenny Evans says the defense really played well in the third and fourth quarter. They did, man. They came out the second half and looked like a whole different team. They didn't play terrible in the first half, but they were giving up some open pass plays and things like that. They really clamped down in the second half. I was happy to see that. Make sure I don't miss any more super chats here, guys. But yeah, I put out a question on Twitter just to see, because I just want to see other people's how they answered it. Is after the first half, because Garrett missed some throws in the first half, guys, that he should have made. And I asked, hey, who should start the second half? And majority of people said Garrett. A few people said Nico, though, and I thought that was interesting. Tim Fitzgerald in the house. Fitz, what's up, Fitz? He says, way to go, WVU. Keep picking them off one at a time. Thank you, Fitz. We appreciate you, man. Most of y'all probably know Fitz. Covers Kansas State, has his own YouTube channel. I think he covers he covers K-State with Go Power Cat, an affiliate of 24/7 Sports, I believe, and has his own YouTube channel. So go check out Go Power Cat. We go check out some Hunter Guy 558 says, I hope Brown learns from his fourth down tonight. We got lucky. That could have been costly. Agreed. And Sasquatch 304 says, you're welcome at Mad Dog Sports. Yeah, Brian Miller, we do need more speed on the field, man. Big E wants to know if that's Mad Dog Russo. If it is, I've made it big time if I got Mad Dog Russo in here. Kenny Evans, the defense really played well. Oh, yeah, I've already read that one. Sorry, guys. Kenny, you are absolutely right, man. He says Golden Blue Dude would be so happy for the things that are going on. He would be on live streaming as we speak, more than likely. And he would be tickled to death that this team's winning football games. Big Dan T says he thinks Sonny lost his cool tonight. Yeah, he got flagged, man. It's not very often you see coaches get flagged. You have to say a lot, and or say the wrong thing to a ref to get flagged most of the time. So he must have went off. Yeah, cheers to GBD. Absolutely right. Nick D says, thought Brown got flustered in the first half, but caught a good game in second half. Besides that one, blown blunder on 3rd and 1 toward the end. Yeah. RIP Golden Blue Dude. Absolutely. Rodney Gallagher is going to be a big battle for us. I agree with you, Ocho. Totally agree with you, man. Guys, we got 208 people in here. If all of you would please hit the thumbs up button, I would appreciate it. That really helps my algorithm. We'll get more people's attention, get more people to come onto this live stream or even see it on the replay later on, which will probably be, I would say in the morning, but now I got to say later today because it's already Sunday. How many of us are just smiling? I'm smiling. I can't wipe the smile off my face, man. Holy cow, what a game. Evil Cowboy, if Kansas got ranked, it's a possibility. It's a road win. Now TCU wasn't ranked, so it's a lot of it's going to depend on what happens to the teams. Kansas got beat today, so they might drop out. I mean, guys, look, our only loss is on the road to a top 10 team who again put up 41 points in their game today. Pretty darn good resume, if you ask me. And TCU's not a bad team at all. Texas Tech's not Texas Tech's a decent team. Big E doesn't seem to think we get ranked. Because of the way we're winning, guys, a lot of media aren't going to respect that. I don't believe, so they may not rank us. But y'all realize if we get ranked, it would be the first time since Neal Brown's been here that we've been ranked. So If we don't, we should get ranked after our next win over Houston, hopefully. Bye week couldn't come at a better time. Anthony, you're absolutely right. Joe Wilson says, remember when we played LSU and their players kept going down just to slow the game down and we do them? I think that's what TCU fans were thinking. They were thinking that, man, but you got to realize when Trey Lathan went down, they were wheeling a stretcher out on the field, and they were still booing. That's a little too far. Mad Dog says, I'm a 15-year-old kid that just likes West Virginia sports. So he's not Mad Dog Russo. Mad Dog, thank you, man, for being on here. I appreciate you. Hunter Guy 558 says, GBD is sitting up there eating a pack of nabs, talking with Bill Stew, talking about how great of a game that was. Hunter Guy, that puts a smile on my face, man. He's drinking a Pepsi, eating Tombstone pizza. Oh, man, that's awesome. Phil says he's a ref. When they get personal, I flag them every time. Good. Thanks for that information. Good to have a ref in the chat room. So everybody be nice to referees. We have a referee in the chat room. Jaheim White needs more carries. Agreed. He looked good tonight. He really did. I think they're because of his inexperience and he's not the biggest guy in the world. They might be trying to limit his carries. WV128 says if we lose D. Holgerson in Houston, I will cry. Yeah, me too. I think we all will. But it's possible. Houston, never know when they might turn the corner. They get next weekend off too, so they get a week and a half to prepare for us. And I'm sure they watched that game tonight to prepare for us. Houston can't stop the run. Texas Tech had 200-yard rushers today. It'll definitely be tough, but I'm not going to take you in the Big 12. You cannot take anybody for granted. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day, even Houston. Danny is always good for an upset every year. Hey, remember the 2013 season when West Virginia was 4-8? We beat a top 10 ranked Oklahoma State team that year in Morgantown. I was actually at that game, believe it or not. We need to not use the swing block with Donaldson. We need to run him off Frazier and Nestor. He can punish people. Our offense is so good we cause holdings on the defense. Yeah, Nick, man, it's very rare you see a holding call on a defensive lineman anyway. And to see two in one game is, that's just, you don't see that. I guess that's why Sonny Dykes was so mad. He's like, now you call this stuff. Houston has Texas Tech's old QB. He gives us trouble before. Yeah, he gave us trouble before. He did, for sure. Michelle Weintraub says it's better if we don't get ranked. We do better being disrespected. Another fair point. I'd love to see us take down Oklahoma later this year. Me too. If West Virginia gets in the top 25, I will dance a jig. And I'll put on my coonskin cap. How many guys you think we get back for Houston? Trevor, I think, I expect McLaurin to probably get back because I think he's got a concussion and he has a week and a half to heal from it. Obviously, I don't expect Lathan to be back. I think he has a broken leg, and more than likely, Aubrey Burks won't be back either, unfortunately. Timothy Hedrick Jr., thank you for the $5 super chat. No comment with it, just a super chat, man. If you want to leave a comment, if you intended to leave a comment, I'll look for it in the chat box, brother. Thank you for the support. Matt Ritson, $2 super chat. Says, nice job, West Virginia, big win over TCU on the road. Thank you, Matt. Hunter Guy says, do you think West Virginia fans will boo Dana when Houston comes to Morgantown? Probably. They better. It's called home field advantage. Don't forget to plug the sponsor. Sasquatch, you are the man. I got to do that real quick. Got to plug my sponsor, guys. I want to give a shout out to Dutch Miller Automotive Group for sponsoring me here on the channel. For all your automotive needs, go see the folks over at Dutch Miller Automotive, the home of friends and family pricing. And they carry about any brand of vehicle you want. They have locations all across West Virginia. They even have locations in Virginia, Tennessee. They even have one in Kansas. For you Kansas people, they have a location in El Dorado, Kansas. Go check them out. Dutch Miller Auto. Go to DutchMillerAuto.com, check them out online, or go visit one of their many locations. Thank you, Sasquatch, for the reminder, my friend. I got so excited I forgot about it. JC Atkins says, if Dana is still there next year, but who knows? Whip Hero says, you think 8-4, 7-5 is possible? Whip Hero, absolutely. I actually predicted 7-5 before the season started, and we're already at 4. All we have to do is win 3 out of our next, 5, how many games we got left? I can't do math. 3 out of our next 7, right? Is that right? Yeah, we have to win 3 out of our next 7 games, which I think is very doable. I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's very doable. Mad Dog Sports. We are not receiving votes, so the chances are slim. And also, Herb Street, when picking the WVU versus TCU game, said, I will pick anybody but West Virginia. Mad Dog, I heard that, but I think he was only saying that just to give Pat McAfee a hard time because he's been on Pat's show before, and they kind of like to jab each other a little bit back and forth. I think that's all that was about. I don't think he meant it as a disrespect at all. Jay Sally, that's right. Only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you. Kansas State and West Virginia Big 12 championship game in Arlington. Wouldn't that be awesome? I might actually have to figure out how to get there. JC Atkins, if Dana is still, oh, yeah. Junior safety, Alex, update. Junior safety, Aubrey Burks will stay in Fort Worth tonight for observation. Redshirt freshman linebacker Trey Lathan also will remain in town and have surgery on a lower leg injury. Alex, thank you for that, my man. Gian says, can we beat Houston in the slow game? Well, I guess we'll find out in 2 weeks or a week and a half. Should be able to. We've been able to. Look, Houston is obviously not as good as Texas Tech because they lost to Texas Tech today. And we know they're not as good as TCU. So we should, if we can do it against those teams, we should be able to do it against Houston. My biggest concern right now are these injuries on the defensive side of the ball, man. We're getting decimated. Sasquatch 304 says, WVU, Portal, Woo, Nico. I'm not even sure what that means. I guess it's supposed to be WVU, Portal, Woo, Nico. I don't know what the Portal one meant, though. 10-2, Kanji, that's absolutely possible, man. Oklahoma, really, really tough game to win there. Don't expect us to win that one, but anything's possible, man. Anything's possible. Timothy Hedrick Jr. says, this Rodney Gallagher is looking better and better. Like to see them get him more touches and some Wildcat. Try him with a snap or 2 at QB and tailback. I'd like to deal with Tavon. Yeah, the only thing right now, he's so small. Rodney Gallagher is a small guy. They probably don't want him taking, as far as putting him in the backfield, they probably would not want him taking that kind of punishment. Playing out on the edges, you don't get hit as much. You're usually going one-on-one with guys. When you're in the backfield, you're getting hit by a big 300-pound lineman, and sometimes more than one. And it's a lot. You're taking a beating. C.J. Donaldson still trying to get used to that, and he's a big guy. What a game. WVU football will drag you down to our level and beat you with experience in the most ugly dogfight of all time. Absolutely. Shout out to our defense for not ever giving up all night, says Jordan Martin. I think the relationship has improved with Pat and WVU 1208. At least I think it has. I know Neal Brown has reached out to him. I think Ren Baker has as well. So I think they're in the process of mending that relationship. Big Dan T, he says, Carter has to play better. I hate his grandmother died, but has to do better. Taylor need to be more of the O. Yeah, I'm not sure what. Taylor, I would like to have seen him throw him the ball more in the first half of the game. They did try to get into him more in the second half, and I also would like to see Traylon Ray get more touches as well. I think he has some explosiveness as well. Luke Bryant says, I could see WVU being the TCU from last year. Ball bounced our way so many times, plus Martin absolutely went off late. The ball did bounce our way a lot, Luke, and I'm glad you brought that up because I meant to touch on that earlier. Ball bounced West Virginia's way a lot tonight, guys. Now, it didn't bounce our way a few times, too, especially with the injury bug. But we got some calls that went our way. Just some things that could have went awry and didn't. And that's exactly what happened for TCU last year. He says he did not mean to send. He said he did not mean to send that. It's all right, man. It's all good, man. It is all good. Alex says, I don't know if this is right, but Kansas is number 3 in the conference, and we are number 4. Same overall record with 4-1, but Kansas is 1-1 in Big 12 play, and we are 2-0 in Big 12. Agree or disagree? We should be ahead of Kansas if they're 1-1 and we're 2-0. Yeah, conference standings have your conference record takes precedence over your overall record in the conference standings. Not in the AP standings and all that, the national standings, but in the conference standings, your conference record comes first. So we should be, up there with the Oklahomas. Any 2-0 team, we're going to be up there with them. At least that's my understanding. Nightclub, and thank you for the $10 super chat. He says, hey, Couz, please give this UCF Knight some words of encouragement. I'm hoping that UCF isn't a glorified, talented Big 12 practice squad. God bless Golden Blue Dude. Good job, Mountaineers. Hey, Nightclub, and thank you, man. Look, UCF fans have shown me a lot of love since I started this channel. I appreciate Nightclub and Night Nation over there. Yeah, that was a tough loss for you guys today, man. You guys had Baylor on the ropes, and as Dennis Green, the ex-NFL coach, would say, you let them off the hook. UCF can play offense. There's no doubt about it. UCF's defense, though, needs a lot of work, and but they'll get it right. Gus Malzahn, UCF, you got yourself a good coach there in Orlando. I have no doubt Gus Malzahn will have this team competing in the Big 12 in the next couple of years. Nightclub, so don't worry about it. But the way he's recruiting, and with his experience as a Power 5 coach, don't fret, man. You guys will be just fine. Iowa State put up 20 on them, and their defense is trash. You talking about Oklahoma? Oklahoma's defense isn't trash, man. And I mean, yeah, Iowa State. I think Iowa State's getting a little bit better at Rocco Beck, the quarterback. He's a young kid. He's getting better every single game. I don't think Oklahoma's defense is trash by any means. Just my opinion. Well, guys, Sasquatch got another comment here. I'm going to wrap this thing up here shortly. He says, I sent your custom emojis. That's why what the crazy message was. Huh. Oh, okay. I got you. I don't know why it did that then. It should show up. I thought the emojis would show up. Not that. Kind of weird. Hunter Guy says, I think WVU barely had any penalties this game. They had 2, Hunter Guy 558, 2 penalties. Another reason they're doing good, man. They're playing good in special teams, few penalties, taking care of the football, running the ball, and stopping the run. Those are key ingredients for winning football, and they're doing it. Very disciplined football. UCF should have won, JC. It was a tough loss for them. One of the biggest comebacks in a long time in college football. Big Dan T, I'm with you. I'm not a big uniform guy either, but I do like the ones they've been pulling out this year. Well, guys, Jacob, thank you for the super chat, my man. He says, did you hear about Jose? I did, Jacob. Jose Perez, for those WVU basketball fans listening, Jose Perez is no longer on the West Virginia basketball team. Apparently, there are some academic issues, and they had to let him go from the team. So that's all I know. Well, I do know a little bit more, but I can't divulge it. But what's out there in the media is all that's being said right now, and it's basically academic reasons. Now, Jose has a different story, but, I have a tendency here to lean towards believing the university, because Jose's done such a good job for them as far as helping recruit other talent to West Virginia, and they've been over backwards, re-recruited him again when he entered the portal and everything. I don't think they would have went through all that trouble if they wanted to kick it, if they saw this coming. So, Trey, I don't believe that, man, at all. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm willing to hear his side of the story, I guess, but whatever, man. There's always 2 sides to every story, and I'm trying not to pick sides here, but you think they would have went through what they went through for him just to kick him to the curb for no reason, especially this late in the year when he's supposed to be a starter? Think about it. Big Dan T says, hell, West Virginia. Absolutely. Luke says they didn't want to go to study hall. That's what he's saying. But if you get a grade for study hall, then you got to go to study hall, right? It's a clash just like everything else. Oh, I know, Trey. I know. I don't know if it's true or not either. Like I'm sure there's truth in every story, right? There's always some truth probably in everybody's story. But you got to everybody's looking at it from their own perspective. I hate it. It's a terrible situation. I hate it for him to a degree because you know he wants to play basketball, but at the same time, it looks like there were some things he could have controlled better that he didn't. So, look, guys. Well, JC, I will tend to agree with you, but it's still a college, man. It still is. It still is college sports. But I do understand your reasoning there. Hunter guy, thank you, man. Yeah, I've got to jump off here, guys. It's late. Everybody's going to bed in my house. I need to do the same. Thank you. Thank everybody for tuning in. Thanks to all of you who gave super chats. Thanks to my new channel members out there. Uh, thanks for everybody who jumps in the chat room. Everybody, please like it on your way out if you haven't yet. Also, guys, don't forget, after you watch mine, go back. If you haven't watched Mountaineer Paul's post-game show, go watch his after mine. Give him some support too. With all that being said, thank you, guys. I love you. Thanks for your support. Go Mountaineers and Q Country Roads.